Get ready to have your mind blown as we reveal the astonishing truth behind 10 planets from the Star Wars universe that exist in our galaxy. From the lush forests of Endor to the bustling cityscape of Coruscant, these iconic worlds are not just products of imagination, but tangible realities in our cosmic neighborhood. Join us on an incredible journey through space as we unveil the breathtaking real-life counterparts of these legendary Star Wars planets. Prepare to be transported to a galaxy far, far away, where science fiction becomes science-stacked. Like it or not, there is no denying that Star Wars has had an immeasurable cultural impact on our society. Birthing iconic moments and revolutionizing the science fiction genre, Star Wars will always be a beloved series, even by those who are not into movies. George Lucas crafted lovable and intriguing characters, not including the prequels, and created a phenomenal universe full of unique and inspired planets. Some of those planets have doppelgangers which could exist in our universe. Also, some planets have been in our solar system too. Here are 10 of them. 1. Kepler 47c, home of Tatooine's iconic binary sunsets. Perhaps one of the most iconic scenes from Star Wars. A New Hope, if not the entire franchise, is the awe-inspiring binary sunset on Luke Skywalker's home planet of Tattooine. That, coupled with John Williams' sublime score, never fails to induce goosebumps among moviegoers. It's a moment that sci-fi fans cherish, which makes the fact that this world may exist all the more tantalizing. In 2012, astronomers discovered Kepler 47c, an exoplanet nearly 5,000 light-years away, lying within the all-important habitable zone of the Kepler 47 binary star system. Kepler 47c follows a circumbinary orbit, which would allow the beautiful double sunsets of Tattooine. Circumbinary orbit means that a planet orbits two stars instead of one, so the planet couldn't have formed within this orbit, but instead migrated into it. 2. Enslottis, Hoth's twin. The infamous Battle of Hoth solidified The Empire Strikes Back as the vast majority of fans' favorite Star Wars film. This snow-covered Tauntaun habitat could very well exist and maybe a lot closer than you may think. Saturn's icy moon of Enslottis is rife with cryovolcanic activity on its south pole, meaning that instead of spewing out lava, it erupts water and other volatiles. The cold conditions mean that the water falls back to the surface as snow, albeit at an incredibly slow rate of 0.1 centimeters, 0.4 in, per year. Never fear, though, for snowfalls as deep as 100 meters have been discovered on Enslottis. Due to the moon's incredibly low gravity, the snow particles that form would be only a few microns across, making them finer than talcum powder, meaning that an unsuspecting 88 walker would easily sink into some of the deeper patches of snow. 3. Europa, the smaller, younger Megiddo. The frozen planet of Megiddo is now the grave of Jedi Master K-80 Mundi, who was betrayed by his clone troopers and tragically gunned down by CC-1138. You may barely remember this scene as it fell within the densely packed montage of Jedi deaths featured in Star Wars, Episode IE. While the events that occurred on Megiddo were pretty underwhelming, the similarities between Europa and this frozen world are quite striking. The fictional planet of Megiddo has a cold, barren, icy surface due to years of dormant tectonic activity. Jupiter's fourth largest moon, Europa, could be a younger version of Megiddo. Even though it's a moon, not a planet, with a smooth, crater-free, icy surface, indicating plenty of geological activity. The general rule of planetology is the fewer craters on a surface, the younger and more active it must be because lava has covered up any craters. Once this young moon cools completely, the ice will remain long after the tectonic shifts have stopped, thus creating a smaller version of Megiddo in our very own solar system. 4. Kepler 86c, future site of the Cloud City. Floating high above the toxic clouds of the gas giant Bespin, the crystal-clean Cloud City is situated safely in a layer of oxygen. There are many gas giants in the universe, but very few are located within their star's habitable zone. Kepler 86b is one of the few that is. A huge floating city doesn't appear naturally, so humans will need to colonize this planet, and it's possible to do so on Kepler 86c for several reasons. First of all, it lies within the habitable zone, so humans aren't going to freeze or burn to death should they venture there. Secondly, they could introduce cyanobacteria to the atmosphere. Cyanobacteria get their energy from photosynthesis, a byproduct of which is oxygen. By the time 5. Mars, Geonosis' twin. The Battle of Geonosis, the first conflict of the infamous Clone Wars as told in Episode II. Attack of the Clones took place in this desert world. If the name doesn't sound familiar, it was the planet full of fly-like creatures that pitted Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme against a rhino, a lizard cat, and a giant praying mantis. The planet is littered with Grand Canyon-esque features carved by the surging torrents of flash floods, leaving behind sweeping deserts that give Geonosis a trademark reddish glow. Let's not kid around here, it's Mars. At roughly 12,000 kilometers, 7,500 miles in diameter, Geonosis is almost twice the diameter of Mars and is closer in size to our planet. However, at least in terms of surface features, Geonosis is a nearly identical match to Earth's second six. Earth, Alderaan 2.0. Home to the lovely Princess Leia, the peaceful planet Alderaan was on screen for only a few seconds before being blown to smithereens by the infamous Death Star. Images of Alderaan's atmospheric clouds above its vast oceans and plentiful landmass highlight that there is no planet from the Star Wars universe closer to our own. It's not exactly beyond the realm of possibility that George Lucas intentionally modeled the planet after Earth, and Alderaan's details indicate its similarity. Alderaan has a rotational period, day length of 24 hours, an orbital period, year, of 365 days, a planetary diameter of 12,500 kilometers, 7,800 miles, and a single moon caught in its orbit. All features identical to Earth. Wit. 7. Mimas. Death Star cosplayer. That's no space station, it's a moon. And it's lurking within our very own solar system. Discovered in 1789 by William Herschel, Mimas is Saturn's seventh largest moon, and due to its massive crater, it bears an uncanny resemblance to the planet-destroying Death Star. While the original Death Star was 160 kilometers, 99 miles in diameter, and its successor, Death Star 2, was a mighty 900 kilometers, 559 miles across. Mimas sits nicely in the middle at 397 kilometers, 247 miles in diameter, making it perhaps Death Star 1.5. The first photographs of Mimas didn't appear until Voyagers 1 and 2 flew by the tiny moon in 1980, 3 years after Star Wars was released, making the resemblance between it and the Death Star even more incredible. Maybe the Force told George Lucas about Mimas. The Force can do that, right? 8. Endor could exist. The forest moon of Endor is the glorified Ewok sanctuary where the closing scenes of the Star Wars saga took place. Using nothing but furry pluck and comical traps, the feral teddy bears defeated the Galactic Empire by destroying the Death Star's shield generator. With twigs and mud, they allowed the rebels to blow up the Death Star a second time around. While sadly, the existence of Ewoks is quite unlikely, as would be their ability to take down an entire heavily armed, technologically advanced, and infinitely more powerful empire, the forest moon that they dwell on could well exist. Very few gas giants have been discovered beyond our solar system that lies within their star's ideal habitable zone. Though no exosolar moons have been discovered, all of these far-off exoplanets are more than likely to have at least one moon. Look at our local gas giants as an example. Saturn and Jupiter have over 120 moons between them. 9. UCF 1.01. Another Mustafar. Mustafar was the location of the showdown between Obi-Wan and Anakin. With lava spewing everywhere across the entire surface, Mustafar may remind you of Jupiter's volcanic moon Io. They are both similar in size after all. Io has a diameter of 3,600 kilometers, 2,200 miles, while Mustafar is 4,200 kilometers, 2,600 miles across. However, Io is a moon, not a planet, and while admittedly, there are numerous examples of lava planets out there, specifically Kepler 78 bits, COR OT 7 bits, and Alpha Centauri b. All of the aforementioned candidates, however, are far larger than Mustafar, so perhaps a better example would be the recently discovered UCF 1.01.